Brett, I think politicians must be so fit. Like, look at Tony Abbott. He's always in those...
Chad, what do you mean by fit?
You know, exercise.
Yeah, I know what fit means. Why do you think they're fit? A lot of them just sit around.
Yeah, we all know that. Occasionally they shake babies' hands or kiss potential voters.
I think you have that the other way around.
Whatever. Anyways, I mean, come election time, they're always running on some sort of platform.
No. That's metaphorical.
Don't you swear at me.
No, metaphorical. It is a thing that is supposed to represent something else, not the thing being said.
So every politician talks in metaphors. They are saying something that actually is something else. So metaphor equals lie, politician equals metaphor, so politician speaking equals lying.
Firstly, yeah, kind of. Secondly, this is the wrong podcast for that topic.
What's a podcast?
Welcome to WTF is CryptoSpace. I'm Brett.
And I'm Chad.
This podcast is all about the crypto space.
Remember, you can find our Facebook group by searching CryptoSpace. If you join that group, we can continue this conversation over there and answer any questions you have during the week.
And review this podcast and give it a 5-star rating on iTunes. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button.
Smack!
It would really help us out.
Also, Brett's Twitter handle is WTF CryptoSpace, and mine is Chad Shuttle Muso.
We now have over 1,400 downloads, Chad.
Booyah!
Yeah, thank you to our new subscribers and downloaders who have joined us this week.
Thank you very much. G'day, guys. G'day, all of you. I'd say thank you to all of you, but I can't see any of you.
Oh, and a special shout out to our highest represented town this week. It's Pittsburgh, PA, United States.
Shout out. Yeah, so the first thing we do in this podcast usually is a thing I like to call fuck.
And Chad, what does fuck stand for?
It stands for frequently asked questions. So the first question we have, Brett, today is why would you want to have an anonymous cryptocurrency?
Well, with the rise of cryptocurrency has come some increased governmental scrutiny and sometimes even regulatory action. For some users who do not like to be thoroughly monitored, with a spike in the market has become a new opportunity for sort of developments for things like Dash, PIVX, ZCash, and Monero. Look, there's a couple of different options, but currently the best one is looking in terms of privacy and anonymity, along with sort of a bit of a price appreciation, is probably PIVX.
So you mentioned a whole bunch of cryptocurrencies, but my question is Bitcoin and Ethereum anonymous?
No.
Okay. Are there any truly anonymous cryptocurrencies?
Well, in short, there is no perfect anonymity.
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 No, anonymity.
Anonymity.
That was good. Everything is a scale, okay, and a spectrum of security, okay? So of what types of guarantees you get around with the different sort of anonymity properties that you want. Yeah, anonymity.
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 You seem to have also posted a link there talking about all the anonymous cryptocurrencies, which will be in our podcast description.
That's exactly right. All the bits and pieces down below. Look, there is a huge movement. Oh, I'm just going to go into the next segment, Chad.
Oh, that's fine. Totally go for your life.
All right, sorry. Did you want to give me an intro?
I don't know what the next one is, so it's totally fun.
All right, so let's go with this. Next segment.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Next segment.
Thank you. So privacy movement towards personal ownership of data and oneself is getting more and more popular. So there's different bits and pieces coming up, like You know how we have sort of the Facebook invasion of your phone? I don't know how many times they ask me a question of, can I steal something else out of your phone's data?
No. They say, can I approve? Do you approve me accessing all your private information, photos and contacts and access and your money and your credit cards?
The other day, right, on Google Photos, now there was a reset of the phone. So we did a reset of the phone, and I couldn't access my photos. They were only on the cloud.
Weird. You know what's really creepy is that okay, my wife and I we go out to like a place out west where there is no reception at all, no GPS, no service. We love it. We go off the grid and we spend a couple of days just looking into each other's eyes because there's nothing else to do. And when we're there, we take photos. We come home, I look on the photos and I go through. And by location, it tells me where those photos were taken. Now, that's creepy, first and foremost. Secondly, how did they know where I was? Because there's no internet or GPS. And thirdly, privacy, brah. Privacy.
Exactly. And look, that's what it's all about today. I mean, what I loved, okay, you get this, and I've done this myself because of this reason. Zuckerberg has a tiny cover over his computer webcam. So you know how, like, the older computers, they had the cover that sort of you can slide across. But now the newer ones, they don't have anything. They're just all exposed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, WikiLeaks released proof that iPhones listen into us.
Okay.
And then also things like AVG, which is meant to be the virus protection, actually seems to access your computer's data.
I wasn't listening to the last bit because I was covering my phone's microphone. I am now freaking out.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for. And look, so that's where
they're listening to me.
They're always listening, Chad. I'm sure they crashed our computer before.
That's true.
Took us a couple of starts to get this one going.
Yeah, absolutely. That's because we're talking about anonymity today.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about anonymity coins. Exactly. So, you know, when you look at these sort of things and this sort of area, it brings into those different products we were talking before. So Dash, PIVX, ZCash, Monero. And what's coming to light is a really great set of skills.
Like Taken. I've got a large set of skills. I haven't quite over many, many years.
Sure.
I don't know the next bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Agreement. Let's move on with the next bit of the segment. I don't know what you're talking about. Agreement.
So, okay, let's cover a couple of things with the specs, right?
Yeah.
You can open up that link if you want.
Okay, I will.
All right, so here we go. When we're looking at stuff like a particular currency like Dash, right? Mm-hmm. And then we compare it to something like PIVX. So the cryptocurrency, there's a huge race in this area to get better at this. And whoever does is going to have a massive share of the anonymity market.
Anonymity market.
Exactly. And so the point of these is that with them, they have different levels of structure. Now, some of the features are that they have the ability to send privately, okay? On top of that, though, when you look at some of these features, we've got things like variable masternode rewards, decentralized governance. Now, what I do like about both PIVX and Dash is they do have decentralized governance, which means that everybody has a say, basically. The block time, PIVX block time is 60 seconds, and the Dash block time is
gone in 60 seconds.
150 seconds.
150 seconds. That's 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so Dash is the largest of the private coins. Okay, so many people are lulled into the sense of anonymity security with private send feature, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what's called, so with a private send, okay, it's like a trademark. With a private send, it is an improved version of what's a feature called CoinJoin, right? Which includes features like decentralization and chaining as a part of that. So this decentralized coin mixing service built with Dash's protocol enables fungibility. That's a new word for us. Maybe we'll add that one in our next one of the currency. But naturally, there's two things you've got to consider when we're looking at this whole area, and I'll get into the other couple of coins in a moment.
Yeah.
One is which calls anti-money laundering. Now, anti-money laundering, rented lips, is a huge thing, okay? It's a massive thing. So this is going to be a very big, popular area with a couple of different entities, like drug dealers.
Yeah. You mean farm core? The farmer core? Yeah.
Yeah. And also very popular with bank robbers.
Oh, you mean the tax department and the what is it? The Federal Reserve?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then the other part, KYC. You've heard of KYC, Chad?
No. What's KYC?
Well,
is that like YMCA, but just weirdly spelled?
They have this. Apparently, they have this lubricant, right?
Oh yeah,
called
KY jelly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now hang on, hear me out. So they have this thing called KYC, which is called Know Your Customer. Now
that's not like anything we mentioned.
No, but the funny thing is that it is a little bit where they basically are going. There's been this huge thing in the crypto space at the moment with Coinbase, and what was happening is that the American, those people that you were saying before, the IRS, went after Coinbase in order to get the maximum amount of details that they can about an individual, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to digress for a moment. So
digress away.
Thank you. So I had a car accident the other day.
Okay, as you do every...
And someone ran up the back of me, and what that meant was that I had to have a replacement vehicle. Okay? So when I went to the counter, so someone else has paid for my car, someone else has paid for it, so because it's all part of the insurance, and what that meant was I got this car, went to go say, hey, here it is, I had to give over my ID, and I had to give over my bank card for a deposit, which is cool. I mean, it's not, but that's just... standard procedure.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, here's this form. I want you to fill out this form. And I'm like, cool, no problem. Started going down the questions, and I'm like, why do they need these details? He wanted to know where I worked, right?
Why?
Well, apparently what happens is that people crash their cars.
Yeah, but that's, yep.
And when they crash a rental car, they leave it and unoccupy it. I'm like, but isn't there police? Can't you just call the police? And he's like, yeah, but they won't give us over the details. And I'm like, yeah, how about I don't give you over my details?
Either.
So, no, well, it's sort of this whole area where people are asking for data that is way beyond what their service is actually providing, which
or
then
needs at all. Yeah.
To Coinbase. Coinbase is actually won, if you will, the first round of this particular legal debate. And they had to give over a minimal amount of information. But what they were doing is they were chasing down their private keys. Now, that's like saying, hey...
Wait, whoa.
Yeah,
we talked about it last week.
Yes.
You mean the one that you can transfer and like, that's the money. That's where your money is actually on.
Exactly.
That is crap. No way.
Exactly. And so that's where this all comes into it, right? So this is where... you are seeing an increase because we joke about, drug dealers and we joke about bank robbers and
tax department. Yeah,
exactly. And so they have to launder their money. But the thing is, most people go, you know what? I'm sick to death of giving too much data over. That is just crap. Yeah. And so this is where you're seeing a huge influx and you're going to see value increase. Now, this is just one of those things that we don't give out financial advice, but we do like to talk about different areas, different currencies in the crypto space. One thing I will point out is this, John.
Yes.
You are going to see an increase in the value of those 4 cryptocurrencies I just mentioned, Dash, PIVX, ZCash, and Monero. You are going to see potentially a price increase. And the reason you're going to see the potential price increase is because the value purpose or the value proposition, the reason people want it, is increasing. And like anything, the more people that want something, the higher the network effect, and then therefore the higher the price. Now, I'm not saying that you have to necessarily go in and purchase these, but that might be something worth looking at. Sorry, Chad.
That is true. No, that's why, though, I was going to say is there's a few things that I pulled out of that. One, you and I know the time where there was no internet. you and I know the time that no one could see my
Just
we
remember.
were just on the cusp of that. Mum and dad, and the older generations kind of know that.
Yeah,
properly.
our first computer was 486.
Yeah, for it. Yeah. So with that, think about the children now who I'm just thinking about this. I watched a bunch of YouTube clips, which is great. Go into that deep dive into that rabbit hole about
Get lost on
information
YouTube.
and stuff like.
It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. I spend most of my working day on YouTube. But
that's great, Chad. You work for me.
I know. Shut up. The boss doesn't know because he lives in Melbourne. Anyway, with that, I did the deep dive and found out like there's a thing called Adam Ruins Everything. There's a podcast out there called Adam Ruins Everything.
Yeah. I've heard this one.
He's phenomenal, funny as. One of the things he said was, you as a person, your information is worth $12 to Facebook and Google. Where you were born, your parents, your spouse, your children's names, your date of birth, your credit card numbers, all of this stuff is worth $12 to Google so they can advertise to you. And unfortunately, the children of this generation, like of now coming in, are going to suffer that, and they're going to live it, and they're never going to know that there was ever privacy, which is, again, going back to 1984 that we talked about last week, 1984, where it's a dystopian future that we're not going to be able to live in if we join these tokens, potentially, if we invest in these tokens and use them the way they're supposed to be used, right?
Absolutely. So one of the things, though, Chad, is, and thanks for the setup, there's this other one called Pillar. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about that one today. This is a completely different strategy, but just to touch on what you said there, Pillar are working on a wallet, and they're working on a platform that uses a different style, and it really does require us to talk a little bit more in depth of this one. However, with Pillar Token, the point behind Pillar Token is they will protect your information on the blockchain, so you'll be the only one that has the private key, which means that you can opt in who sees what information when, and you can decide whether or not you need to do a transaction with that entity. And what will end up happening, Chad, and that's why I say this is a long-term trend curve, is people are genuinely going to turn around and say, you know what, I'll pass. It's not going to be too high a price because the value, the price of the service might have gone up. It'll be your amount of security is poor. Why would I give you over my information so that you can lose it or get hacked?
That's exactly right.
So back to what we were saying in terms of the list before, we were talking about Monero. Okay, so Monero's, so this is a really great coin. You've got a really great popular base. It's been around for since 2014. It's quite old in the crypto space. So significant privacy is provided with what's called ring confidential transactions at the protocol level. So it's the cool thing about this, and you wait till you see the private key, like the public key is really long, but the private key is insane. And so it's coupled with what's called a stealth address. So both the sender and receiver and obtain significant privacy. There is a large problem. A large problem is the block size resulting from an increased size of transactions. So this is something that they've got to look at. But another cool feature will be Covery, which is a router, which will enable the ability to conceal the origin node or destination of the transaction.
Okay. So that adds another layer of privacy.
Absolutely. And then there's this other cool one called ZCash. Now, ZCash is what's called a zero-knowledge proof. Now, you've got to look at the whole crypto space is really about being able to transfer value between two parties, right?
Yeah.
Using some sort of mechanism, okay, like a cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Okay, but the important thing is this has to be a trust-proof environment.
Yeah, that's true.
So Zcash introduced what's called a zero-knowledge proof, okay? So it means you don't have to know where it comes from in order to do the transaction because of the way the system works. So,
and also, it sounds like you don't need permissions from other things to get that. It's like a permission.
No, exactly, which Bitcoin obviously does. So
yeah.
A zero-knowledge proof enables verification of and privacy of the data, which means eventually, look, Zcash could have applications. They could turn it and start to put information on their blockchain because, you know what, they've got the basis of equipment to sort of do this, the technology, sorry. So, and finally, the protocol does not hide public data. Okay, so that may be linked to your personal identifier. So that's something to be mindful of as well.
Right. Okay. So that's a lot of stuff. So there's a bunch of privacy stuff.
Exactly. And so then PIVX. Now, PIVX is a really interesting one that it's newer. Okay, so it's recently come out in this whole ICO wave. Mm-hmm. Okay. The important thing, though, is with this particular style, it might be really worth something to look into if people are looking at possibly investing. They have a roadmap. If you've not heard that term before, that means just purely like you would in the old application. A roadmap just helps people guide them into where this company or where this blockchain group are going in the future. So the ecosystem that they're creating is really interesting. So it has a blend of governance like Dash.
Yep.
And it has some elements of proof of stake, right? Which means if you hold it, you can be more respected. You don't have to just proof of work, which is what Bitcoin's based on, where you mine it as well. So you can actually hold it, and therefore you can maybe earn a reward or what have you from it. So the wallets, they need to be open and unlocked while connected to the internet. So that's something to be careful of in terms of security at this stage. And the addresses need to have at least 100 confirmations in order for the transaction to go through in its entirety.
Wow.
All right, so that's something to be mindful of as well. At this stage, I'm not saying it will change. They'll probably improve that technology as time goes on.
And this is all PIVX, right?
That is PIVX, yeah.
Yeah. So
which is why it's the least of the established ones we talked about today.
I'm looking at the price at the currently. It could be like if you're looking for potential rate of change and good ratios, go and have a look at PIVX. The actual code is PIVX on coinmarketcap.com. So we got anything else to talk about today, Brett?
The only thing I was going to say is that each of the ones that we've talked about today, we do like them through our Twitter account. So what you will find is if you ever find one of these that you find interesting, just hit us up on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Go to the people that we've liked, and you'll go to see some of the companies that we have there that we've talked about. We don't recommend them. I'm just saying that we try to grab as many as we can in the crypto space so that you can go through exploring that way.
And what is the Twitter handle, Brett?
That is a good question. WTF CryptoSpace.
Sick. All right. Well,
what's your crypto? What's
my crypto? My crypto is
Ethereum, Bitcoin,
about 3 inches by 4.
What?
I don't know what they were.
Twitter handle.
I don't know what I was referring there. My Twitter handle is Chad Shuttle Muso. By the way, all this is staying in. This is all staying in.
People can send you regular chats and ask you questions at your...
Good luck. Godspeed. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Like us once, comment twice, and share the link of our podcast on your social medias and websites. Talking about websites, Brett, we have a website coming in the near future. Nearer than further, right? Near future than further future.
Absolutely. Once we get past this next planning date.
Yeah, exactly. But until then, we do have a newsletter. So you go to our Facebook group by searching CryptoSpace and let us know that you want to receive that newsletter, and we shall send you some details there.
And thanks to Brad for giving us a shout out. He hit us up for a couple of questions this week, so thank you.
Yeah,
and remember, awesome. Review this podcast and give it a 5-star rating on iTunes. If you are on YouTube, hit that like button.
Smack!
It really encourages us to continue to create podcasts for your listening pleasure. Thank you to those people who also sent us some tips during the week. That does help us out on keeping this on track.
Also, click subscribe to this podcast to get your weekly podcast updates from us knuckleheads, and you'll get it on your podcast feed every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But until next time, I'm Chad.
And I'm Brett.
Let's get excited about the crypto space.
The transition has begun.
Why would you? Oh, we're clapping ourselves at the end. We're clapping ourselves because we don't need to sync up at the end. You know that. Also, my dog is a little bastard because he's been barking the whole time.
Yeah, but I can't hear him.
Hey, Dad! I can hear you. Dad, where are you? Dad! Hey, Dad! Hey!
Roof.
Hey! Dad! Dad!